Hey, what's up? I'm B Chanel and welcome to my artistry, B Chanel Artistry. So it is late. I am in my studio space, my natural habitat. I've been working on this painting right here. It's gonna be called Goddess in the Flesh. And the main reason I wanna do this video and I wanna discuss this, even though it is like a shitload of videos like teaching you on how to do shadow work or what it is and like whatnot, I haven't really seen like too many people talking about what to expect, what to look out for, like some warnings before you start, because shadow work, like from my experience, can be a bit unpredictable, and you may run into some things that you might have not been ready for, or like you may have not like expected. This is like based on like how I experienced it when I started doing it. I wanted to talk about all that. I wanted to do this video as I'm trying to finish this, because as I've been creating it, as I've been painting it, as I've been going through the process, it's pretty much inspired by what I want to talk about, based on my experience with doing shadow work on my spiritual journey. So yeah, this is Goddess in the Flesh. What is shadow work art, along with some shadow work precautions. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Okay, so before we can find our inner goddess and keep it that way, we must get through our shadow work successfully. Become familiar with what we're up against, because the more we know about ourselves, the less others are able to tell you who you are. Since I've been sharing my work online, I'm often asked stuff like, what is the story behind your art? And where did you find your inspiration? And I'm often hearing from more seasoned creators things like, your art needs to have a story for people to take interest, and storytelling is so powerful, but is it? A lot of artists like myself are introverted, which is why you often find like their deepest emotions in their work. But on the other hand, you don't necessarily have to be an artist. You just need a story, your perspective, your vision. It will never be a concoction. It will always be yours, your life lessons, your experiences. But unfortunately, in this world, speaking your truth comes with judgment. Often from those who could never walk half a mile in your shoes. And that takes strength, self-awareness, and knowledge of self to not allow stuff like that to get to you. Shadow work allows us to break through those barriers. We can't get to the top with the weight of stuff like negative energies, regrets, insecurities, holding us down, trapping us within our lower selves, constantly making us feel afraid and unsafe. And if you are a creative and it's easier for you to communicate and get things out through what it is that you create and share with the world, shadow work art is a transformative and reflective artistic practice that we all can heal and benefit from as creative, introverted people, exploring and expressing the hidden, unconscious aspects of yourself, your shadows. And you don't have to be a big talker or wear your emotions all on your sleeve on the internet to a bunch of strangers, putting yourself in a line of fire to be judged and ridiculed just to free yourself, defeating the whole purpose. That's not the only way. Everything don't work for everybody. In the context of art, any form of art, It goes beyond creating aesthetically pleasing pieces. It becomes a tool for self-discovery, healing, and spiritual growth. So, if you are watching this and you feel that this may be something that you need, here are some precautions to take before you begin, and what you can expect should you decide to take this route. First, understand that shadow work does not feel good, and it can get real painful real fast. So please take all the time you need. This is not a race. Just because your favorite spiritualist brought it up, there is no need to jump in head first into something like this. Spiritualists on here talk about it so much because it works, but only when you are ready for it to work. So allow yourself to ponder, learn, and observe carefully to be sure that you are ready to move forward. Understand ahead of time the range of emotions that may come up and make peace with that. Deeply buried emotions such as anger, shame, and guilt will come back up to the surface. So if you are someone who had something traumatic happen to you, you must build the willpower to allow it to pass through you. So be honest with yourself. Are you ready for that? Now please don't take me as somebody trying to scare you. That is not my intention. My goal is to help alleviate the unexpected. The unexpected that could result in the fear of moving forward in your journey. I've done shadow work a few times, and I have came across obstacles that have stunted my growth. And I wanted to make this video because those obstacles wouldn't have been as hard to deal with had I knew what to expect before just jumping into it. So try your best to prepare yourself mentally. Think of giving birth. To birth human beings in this world through our wombs, we feel contractions. Even though we mothers can all agree that contractions are painful, our body must do it for the vagina to dilate. We know that if we don't dilate, then we won't be able to give life. So we go through it. We scream, we holler, we cry, we push until life is given. So moral of the story, some of our best experiences have come through pain. So when it comes to shadow work, understand that instead of giving birth to your child, you will be giving birth to yourself, the best version of yourself. Another precaution I have for you, if anything traumatic happened in your past, such as being touched, abused, loss of a loved one, or anything like that, understand that you will no longer be able to block those memories. Depending on how much it affects you, I highly recommend having some sort of source of support on deck. A therapist, a close friend, a relative, someone who you've already confided in and is aware of what you've been through. Shadow work is not just any old ritual. It is a very vulnerable and personal experience for both you and those who love you most. Forgive yourself for past mistakes. You don't know what you don't know. No one walking this earth is perfect. If we were all perfect, none of us would even be here. We are here for the experiences, the lessons, the wisdom, and knowledge to vibrate higher. Experience is the teacher, and we are the students. And what student was ever perfect? We must start as students before we can become masters of our own worlds. We did not come to a world of duality to be perfect, but to balance and then ascend. So stop dragging around all that shame and guilt from your past when you didn't know any better. Stop judging yourself because you assume others are judging you just as harshly as you are towards yourself. Trust me, nobody cares that much. Humans are innately selfish and too busy dealing with their own problems. So just live your life and own your shit. You'll be alright. And last but not least, you will feel isolated, but you don't have to be. Shadow work has a way of making you feel like you need to be isolated and away from everybody. Even though you do need that time alone to reflect, you don't have to completely shut everybody out who mean you well. A support system can soften some blows. Even if it's just one person, if you can be yourself around that person, that is more than enough. Share it with them if it feels necessary. So yeah, to gain the most out of shadow work, consider these precautions. Understand that you will be making a conscious choice to face aspects of yourself that's been yearning for your acknowledgement. Keep in mind that the initial purpose of shadow work is to go through the darkness to transmute it into your light, not dwell in the darkness. Trust the process and allow your light to lead the way. Peace and blessings.